Here we go on all fours. You might want to place the blanket down, as I'm going to do, for a little bit of comfort for your knees. And again, if it's not so comfortable for your knees or for your wrists to be on all fours, you can begin seated in a chair. What I want to do first is just see that the wrists are directly under the shoulders and the knees are directly under the hips, and really try to pull up out of the wrists so that you're not putting too much pressure down. You can also roll the blanket a little bit and place the heels of your hands there and have less of a flexion in the wrists if that works out better for you. So here we are, and just like a baby would do, just begin to drag your tailbone back in space, and then from the crown of your head, dragging yourself forward. Maybe dragging is not the right word, but gliding. How about gliding? So just gliding the spine in this horizontal plane back and forth, just to feel the presence of spine, of the whole torso, rib cage. Just feeling this newness, a sense of curiosity and newness of this body in the same way that a baby plays as it starts to experience its own body in space. So feel the length of the spine in one nice long line. See that you don't break the curvature at the neck. Keep the gaze in line with the spine. And then come to center and pause for a moment. So having kind of sensed the fullness of this length of the spine and breadth of the torso, we'll start to move into cat and cow, into arch and curl. So as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, send the collarbones wide and the gaze forward. As you exhale, curl, dome the middle back up. Completely exhale, and then inhale, lengthen, curling into the arch. Just starting to combine movement with breath. Inhaling and exhaling, arching and curling. Just feel the magnificence of this spine, the nobility of its architecture. And then pause, come back to center. Inhale, take the right leg back behind you, toes pointing down. And pause here. And breathe. And then draw the knee to the nose, curl the spine. Inhale, lengthen the leg back, coming back to neutral. And then exhale, point the toes as you draw the knee toward the forehead, curl the spine. Inhale, lengthen, neutral or slight arch. Exhale, point the toes, curl in. Inhale, flex the foot and extend. Exhale, curl in. And then come back to center. You can pause here. You can drop back to child pose if you like. Lengthen. And then come on back to center. We'll change sides. Inhale, lengthen the left leg long. And then exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lengthen, flex the toes. Exhale, point the toes, draw in. Curl the spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl. Feel some heat building through the core. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, curl. And then one more time, pause in the middle, maybe sitting it back, lengthening the arms forward. Child pose. These are all suggestions, so just see what works for you. You can always change it up. And then one last thing here. We're just going to take the right knee out to the side. I like to call this doggy at the hydrant, for lack of a better nomenclature here. Inhaling, bring the knee up, and then exhale, come back. A few times like this. You can inhale and even hold, let some heat build in the outer hip, in the buttocks, in the gluteal muscles. Come back down. Take a few times, just feeling some heat, some energy build. Draw the navel toward the spine. We're really building some stability through the whole core as we do this. Your choice, but if you'd like to hold, or just come out and in. And then pause, and we'll take the other side. So left leg lifting, inhaling up, exhaling, drawing back. No need to count. We can just kind of feel from the inside what feels about equal. Just building some equal heat. Pushing your body a little bit towards your edge, towards building some strength, building some energy flow here. We want to tax ourselves a little bit in our yoga practice. Right? To build the capability of this body, to build our strength. Just notice how it's different from side to side. One side might just feel a lot easier. And then when you're ready and you're done, one more time you can draw it back. And then come on to a comfortable seat. Either seated or in the chair, either on the floor or in the chair. I'll just share a little bit on this final week of the Omer. So as I said, we're in the 7th week, the final week, right? We're doing 7 times 7. And it's the 46th day of the Omer and the 2nd day of the month of Sivan. So we've gone through this flow, these lower triads here, right? Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet triad, and the Netzach, Hod, Yesod triad. And now we're down to the bottom, Malchut, or Shekhinah. Divinity, nobility, indwelling presence, right? So Malchut comes from the word for king, sovereignty, Melech, and Shekhinah comes from the root from Lishachen, to dwell, Shin, Chaf, Nun, or Mishkan, the tabernacle, the indwelling presence, Shekhinah, the feminine presence of God. And this is known as the lower crown. So you have Keter at the top, literally means crown, and then this flowing through, we'll talk about that in a moment, and here we land at the lower crown, also understood as the manifestation. So Keter at the top is more the first stirrings of being, of it's God as pure potential, right, in that upper crown, and manifestation is the at the bottom through the work of the other sphirot. So if the practice that we've been doing for these 7 weeks of looking at ourselves through the lens of all these sphirot is a blueprint for change, then Malchut is where we land at manifestation of that actualizing the change, manifesting that expression in ourselves. Kabbalah, as you may know, has a very male, female, and sexualized energy, sexualized imagery to it. And so the previous 6 sfirot are all seen as male, and this one is seen, Malchut Shechina is seen as female, the one that they all pour into. Art Green says the following: the flow of divinity from hiddenness to revelation, the flow of mental energies from egolessness to fullness of personality, the flow of sexual energies from their deep inner sources to fulfillment in the act of sexual union are all manifestations of the same process. Okay, this energy of coming into our godliness in humanized form down here. Rabbi Sam Feinsmith put the sexuality of it a little more, let's say, elegantly, or a little more nuanced. Rabbi Sam Feinsmith wrote the following, I think for a piece he wrote for IJS a year or two ago. Malchut is understood in Kabbalah as the reservoir that receives and holds the influx of pure divinity that's been cascading downriver from one sphira to the next, right? Cascading downriver, as we've talked about through thesis, antithesis, synthesis, again and again, these sort of trials of personality as we form personality. Influx of pure divinity that's been cascading downriver from one sphira to the next as it takes on shape, form, color, and texture. In the Kabbalistic imagination, this energetic outflow emerges out of the divine source, Ein Sof, right? Endlessness, literally, Ein Sof, without end, of Cantor, and unfolds in stages, moving successively from pure divinity in its most uniform, subtle, formless, and limitless state into increasingly multiform, coarse, form-bound manifestations. The end result of this process is divinity incarnate as the physical world we know and inhabit. This is Malchut. This is Shekhinah. So that's where we are today. And so this process of arriving today, right, or this week, looking at divinity within, nobility within, taking our seat unapologetically, that's Malchut and Shekhinah, right? Coming from hiddenness into revelation. This whole process where we land this week helps us, of course, to land in Shavuot, right? The receptive readiness for revelation, for the Torah that we shall receive this year anew. Like we're ready. We've journeyed these 7 weeks from Pesach, from slavery, from Mitzrayim, from anything that's constricted within us. We've made this journey of self-awareness and self-perusal, self-investment to arrive here. So our yoga practice today, friends, I think it's really a wonderful one, is about contacting our own nobility and resting in that. Seeing ourselves, feeling ourselves in our embodied practice today as manifestation of divinity, living in this body, being in this body as the holy vessel, the channel that it is. And so we're going to build a little heat and energy and sensation just like we just did, and then allow for this kind of meditation and motion phase of just receiving the reverberation, the resonance of the heat that we build, right? So it will allow the divine play to unfold within us and to pause and to feel that. One last quote, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said this, that our work in the pool of Malchut is, quote, to learn to establish the right relationship between the heart and the word we're about to utter, right? So how thought becomes manifest in word as well. So that's our work today. Beautiful. So before we come to standing, once again, lift the spine and let's just take some shoulder rolls, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhaling, let the shoulder blades draw toward each other and down the back as you come down, and make this circle, inhaling up and exhaling down, back and down. Take this a few times as if you had paintbrushes on your outer shoulders. You were making circles on the opposite walls. Make a nice big wide circle there with your shoulder cape. Sometimes just this is a beautiful, full, embodied practice and can really change the energy for the day. And then finish and pause. And notice how that has landed, how that feels. Just roll those shoulders. And then let the right ear drop toward the right shoulder. Let the head be heavy. Let some sensation build on the left side of the neck. You could just stay right here, or you could bring the right hand over. You could extend the left arm, however you'd like to take this. But breathe and let the jaw go. You can even let your lips and teeth separate. And then inhale up through center, nice and easy. And exhale, let the left ear magnetize toward the left shoulder. Just drop it. The head be heavy. Once again, let the jaw be easy. Let the lips and the teeth separate. If you'd like a little more sensation, a little more bells and whistles, you can take the arm over. You can extend the other hand. Be wherever you want to be here. And then inhale up. And lastly, with the eyes open, take your eyes across the horizon and over the right shoulder. Inhale, center. Let the eyes lead, and exhale, take your eyes over to the left. And go back and forth a couple times, just feeling the beauty, again, the nobility of how the head rests atop the spine and maneuvers from side to side. It's really just magical. And when it's free and when there's ease in the back of the neck, how beautiful just this simple gesture becomes. Feel your own presence. Come back to center and pause. And we're going to come to standing. You can take your time. You might want to do this through a squat, through a ragdoll, however you'd like to come to standing. Take your time. When you come up, finding mountain pose, pausing. Take the feet hip width apart. We're just going to begin with arms. So we call this sun arms. Right? Just tracing like the sun, making some movement here with the arms. It just looks like this. Inhaling, take the arms out to the sides at the shoulders, turn the palms to face up. And then exhale, bring the arms back down. It's just like that. Keep the eyes soft and open, and keep the arms in the peripheral vision, so that you can see them as you go. Keep a slight bend on the knee. Inhaling as you come up. And exhaling as you come down. Just coordinating your own breath and movement. Feel the rib cage expand. And then on your next exhale, come down and pause. Okay, friends, we're going to move into a little bit of sun salute. So you may want to take 2 blocks at the front of your mat, or you may want to take a chair, and I'll just briefly show you how that looks. Right? So that if you don't want to go down to the floor and come back up, if that's too much for you, you're going to do like this. Basically, it's looking like this. Here's your forward fold, length, and your cobra is sort of just a cat-cow sort of thing. And then, you know, one leg back here. Downward dog is going to look like this, right? And then you'll come back up. That's your basic outline, right? So that you can stay in one plane. So that's for you if you'd like the chair. And I'll do some modeling with the blocks here. So allowing breath to help and movement to help build a little bit of heat through this divine vessel. Just feeling our sense of Malchut Shekhinah, of this divine manifestation that is the body, the physical self at play, the psychophysical being. Take the palms to the heart. The feet can be together or hip width apart. Just finding stability of mountain pose right here. And then here we go, inhaling, take the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, dive it forward over the legs. Inhale, 90 degrees, lengthen the spine. Exhale and step that right foot back, take the knee down. Just pause here, you can let the hips rock a little bit forward and back. And then let's build up, taking the hands to the left thigh and over the head if you'd like. Be here and breathe. Let the hips sink, lengthen the tailbone. Inhale, and then exhale. Take the hands down. Tuck the back toes. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Plank pose, either legs straight or knees bent. Breathing here. Inhale, and then exhale, come down to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. If you're at the chair, it's just going to be an arch. And then exhale, coming back. It can be child pose or it can be downward facing dog, tucking the toes, sending the hips back. If you're in the chair, you're lengthening the arms and the legs and making an L shape. Be here and breathe. You can walk out the feet if you like. Pedal them out. Move through the feet. You can even roll over onto the fronts of the toes. And find a downward facing dog with the heels lengthening, weighted towards the floor. And then we move again, inhaling right leg up and exhale, stepping it forward, left knee to the floor, and pause here. Once again, letting the hips just rock a little bit forward and back. Just feel your own form, this inner dance, divinity resting within you in multiplicity. As Sam said, colors, textures, forms, taking the hands to the right thigh if you like, starting to build here, a low lunge, taking the arms up. Inhale, fill the form that you are, exhale, and then bring the hands down, tuck the back toes, step it forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up or reverse that swan dive with a long spine. Inhaling the arms up. And then exhaling, coming back to the chest. Pause here and receive and breathe. Before we take our next round, just be here. Feel that internal play. How's the temperature in your body? Sensation of heartbeat. Building a little bit of inner heat. Where do you feel the resonance of the sun salute? And we'll go again, inhaling the arms up. Exhale, dive it over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step the right foot back, either knee down or knee up. You can decide. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down, step it back, plank pose, either legs straight or knees down. Couple of breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, come down to the floor. Inhale, small cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, child pose or downward facing dog. And pause here. And once again, you can pedal out through the feet. Or you can just pause and rest in downward facing dog. Arms extended, spine extended. Letting the heels drop. Inhale, lengthen that right leg back and up. Exhale, step it through. Left knee is down to the floor or up, you decide. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold back down, step it forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, come back to the heart. Pause here and breathe. And feel and allow. Release the hands. You can move the chair or the blocks away for the moment. So it's Shekhinah Day, and I think it calls for goddess pose, emanation of the feminine presence, right? So we're going to take the legs a little wider than hip width, nice and wide actually. Turn the feet out, so second position if you're a dancer, or toes in the direction of the corners of the mat. Let's start with the hands to the hips. We'll inhale here. And we'll exhale, we'll bend the knees. You can come down as far as you like, but you want to see that the knees are extending out over the toes. Make sure they're not falling in. Tailbone dropping. And then you can bring your hands where you like. Possibly, maybe that's to the chest, or maybe that's up to goalpost position with the hands forward or the palms facing in. However feels best for you, you decide. We're going to pause here, and it feels nice to me to just start by rocking it a little bit side to side. Kind of takes a little of the sting, a little of the fire out of it. Just kind of start here. And then when you're ready, settle into the center, let the tailbone drop and the crown reach up. Breathe. Let the heat build. Let those thighs start to mildly ignite. Feel the core start to heat up. Breathe here. Be with it. Feel the nobility, the beauty of this divine pose, the goddess. When you come to your edge, see if you can go another breath or two. Feel free to vocalize your exhale. And when you're ready, when you're done, if you haven't already, straighten through the legs. Come on out. Come back to mountain pose. And before too much fidgeting, take a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart. The eyes can remain open or closed. You decide. Pause and deeply check in. Feel through the body the play of divinity within you. This miracle of the whole integrated self. And when you're ready, allow the eyes to open if they were closed. Release the hands. Give a little shake out. We're going to come down to the mat. I'm going to build a little more heat before we cool down, just a little more in the form of bridge pose. Okay? So we're going to come onto the back. Going to come onto the back. Knees are bent. The heels are close into the body and they're in line with the sitting bones. And feel that your toes are not turned out, but they're parallel. They're pointing forward. Right? So you've got sitting bones, heels, toes, right? Just take a moment to feel how it is to be in contact with the earth. Let the weight of your body give over to the mat, to the floor, to the earth. Surrender yourself. Okay. And we're going to lengthen the arms. You can take hold of either side of the mat. I always like that as a starter. Roll your shoulders under you just a touch for starters. Inhale here. And I want to say, if you want this is going to be a vigorous bridge, but if you want something less, you can take the block under your sacrum and do a supported bridge. You can do a low bridge, like you do you. You do you. Inhale here. And exhale, lengthen your tailbone, flatten the back, the lower back to the mat, and then press into the feet, lift the thighs, lift the hip points. So start to come up. You can start to roll the shoulders under you a little more. So we'll do bridge 3 times, right? So just starting with kind of a medium bridge here, right? Not too much. Especially press into the ball of the foot, the mound of the big toe, right? Because the feet have a tendency to go to the outer edges, to splay perhaps. Let your knees be magnetized toward each other so that they also remain parallel and don't splay, and the tailbone is extended toward the knees. And after a couple breaths, when you're ready, on your next exhale, just start to lower vertebra by vertebra down to the floor, from the top down. Take your time, like you're placing these beautiful, precious pearls, one by one, down to the floor. Take a breath or two when you get there. Rearrange. And this time we'll go up a little higher, inhaling. Exhaling, flatten the lower back, extend the tailbone toward the knees, and then lift the hips. Draw the shoulders under you, can draw those outer shoulders in. Lift the hips up a little bit higher. Chin is going toward the chest, that's lifting toward the chin, right? But nothing's crunched. You could still speak freely as I'm doing. And the back of the neck is long, but it's also not smushed to the mat, right? Maintaining that cervical curve, breathing here as the thighs start to build some heat. And then as you're ready, widen the shoulders. Exhale, lower down vertebra by vertebra. Coming back to the mat. Third time's a charm, okay, right? So the idea is feeling the play of divinity as it flows energetically through this system, right? And as we build heat and intensity in a pose, that's exactly what's happening, right? It's the play of life. So inhale. Exhale, pressing the lower back to the mat as a means of lengthening the tailbone, and then beginning to lift. Roll the shoulders under you. Maybe this time you want to clasp opposite hands. Lift the hips, press into the feet. And think really from it's about pressing the feet down and lifting the hip points up, right? So try to reduce any squeeze of the buttocks. Stay here as many breaths as you like. Use your breath. Build some heat. Whenever you're ready, release the hands, widen the shoulders, lower down vertebra by vertebra. Take your time coming down. And then any counter pose you feel. So really tuning in here. Do you want to do a hug the knees to the chest? Do you want to do a lying twist, taking the knees side to side? You decide what you need next. Moving into some flow, your flow, divine flow. Right, so just as we go from Cantor to Malchut to Shekhinah, right, through this flow of the Sfirot, our yoga practice also goes through the flow of all these kind of set structures and poses of asana that we do through the thing. And then the end, this moment, is where divinity manifests, right? So it's an intelligence that's not from the mind. Just let poses flow through you. See what wants to be known next. And if we had more time, if you have more time today, feel free to just turn off the video and go into your own divine inspired flow for whatever amount of time you have to give to the practice today. But if you are going to be finishing up your practice, then let that wind down and come to stillness. Knees bent or extending the legs. Maybe you want to lie on your side in fetal position. Or even in prone position, face down. You decide and just take some moments for rest. Begin to deepen the breath. Coming back to the surface. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Take your arms overhead. Nice yawn, stretch, sigh. And then draw the knees in toward the chest. And make your way over onto your side. In a fetal position. Using your upper arm as a pillow for your head. Just pausing here. Feel your breath move through you. And as you're ready, pressing into your hands to come up to a comfortable seat. Tall spine. So Malchut says this, Shekhinah says this, take your place. You have been formed for just this moment, a vessel for holiness, a channel for blessing. Through you I come into the world and shine. Through you I come into the world and shine. Seal your practice with a hand to the heart. A full breath in and a full breath out. Allow the eyes to open. Shavua Tov to you. Blessings in this final week of Malchut Shekhinah, this final week of the Omer. And of course, Chag Shavuot Sameach, a beautiful Chag. Wishing you a beautiful week. And see you again in 2 weeks on Monday. Bye for now.